Alright, man, peace. So, brothers, the name of this video is going to be Cardi B, Mother Goddess Incarnate. Why am I calling it that? Not because Cardi B, in and of herself, is the only person who's trying to act as a microcosm of that Mother Goddess archetype, but because she's the latest manifestation of an agenda that they've been propagating on not only just the American people, but the global population for the past 100+ years or so, since the entertainment industry has been in vogue. So I want to start off first with what the definition of anarchy is and what the symbol is for anarchy. Because many of you brothers who frequent my channel know that I like to use the term agent of chaos. And I state incessantly that the woman is a natural agent of chaos, but she's not the only one. There are many men who act as agents of chaos, especially throughout history. It's just that the woman in general, her nature is to be an agent of chaos. And once they join the entertainment industry, that agent of chaos aspect or archetype gets ratcheted up. For example, any of you who've studied the quote-unquote pagan mythology, you'll know that the quote-unquote god of chaos or entropy is actually a goddess. That being Eris, spelled E as in Edward, R as in Roger, I as in India, S as in Sam. She's the goddess of chaos or discord. And it helps you to understand things on a far greater level. Never underestimate what the ancients understood about the nature of the woman, and the man for that matter, but especially the woman, because she does like to proactively act as an agent of chaos. Women love that frenetic concept, that aspect. It makes them feel excited. That's why we get the myth of, or the quote-unquote myth of Pandora being the person who brought mischief and troubles into the world. That actually is a branch off of the understanding of Eve. But let's get back to the point here. I just wanted to start off with the definition of anarchy and what that symbol is, because it's going to resonate later on in this video. So let's check this out. It says anarchy symbol, meaning in history. And of course you have the A with the circle around it. It says the circle A anarchy symbol is one of the most recognized political symbols. It is more modern than the classic black flag, which is also a common symbol for anarchism. Circle A can often be seen spray painted on walls and under bridges in red or black or as a flag. The letter A comes from the first letter of the word anarchy or anarchism, which has the same meaning in many European languages. The letter O stands for order. Together, they stand for anarchy is order. So brothers, you hear that? That is what this symbol stands for. Anarchy is order, i.e. order out of chaos. Ab ordo chaos. Anarchy is a philosophy or political beliefs that advocate the absence of authority, resulting in a state of chaos and disorder. That's why you have so many troubles all throughout this society, this Western civilization, because that is the credo that these societies are domineered by, that being that anarchy is order. There is no room for the element of order in the household, that being the man as the head. They want the woman as the head because she naturally gravitates towards that chaotic energy. But, I'm going to prove that as this video goes along. And once again, it's not just about the woman, but for the sake of this video, we're going to be focused on the woman because it is about the mother goddess archetype and what she represents. So let's read it again. Anarchy is a philosophy or political beliefs that advocate the absence of authority, resulting in a state of chaos and disorder. Theoretically, it would be anarchy, complete freedom from political, governmental, and authoritative intervention, resulting in maximum freedom and individual rights. Well, that's the concept that they sell the people. That's basically cultural Marxism. We're all equal. We all have a right to not only be tolerated, but celebrated, so on and so forth. They've been pushing and promoting anarchy as order for many years now. The people just have not quite understood it. At least the masses haven't. But people are starting to wake up, at least to a degree. Eventually, there's going to be a great cataclysm once everyone wakes up. And by the term everyone, I mean when all people are forced to quote-unquote pick a side, whether or not you want to be aligned with order or with chaos. And that time eventually is going to come, pursuant to scripture and just in the way in which the society is trending. The Luciferian philosophies are being forced on the masses. Some people are going to accept, others are going to rebuff. How the Circle A anarchy symbol was born, no one knows. but there are records to show that it was used in the late 1800s by the anarchists, the Federal Council of Spain, of the International Workers Association. That means Marxism. It comes later with photos of the Spanish Civil War applied to a military's helmet. Okay, so we pretty much established what that symbol means and what it entails. So now let's delve into this understanding on Cardi B and what she's actually meant to propagate, the energies that she's meant to communicate or transmit to the masses at large, especially the female of the Western society. Okay, so now this is Cardi B in her renowned video for quote-unquote Bodak Yellow. And brothers, I have to admit, I'm a little bit slow on the uptake when it comes to modern day hip-hop because I don't really follow the genre like I did many years ago. But eventually the more popular artists and popular songs, they come to me in a roundabout way because they're so popular that I hear them everywhere. And certain artists, really witches, that they choose to celebrate on the national airwaves, I take notice of. And Cardi B was certainly one of those people because, no disrespect, she has no talent whatsoever. She does have a certain low-level charisma. There's no doubt about that. When you see her on TV, you want to watch to see what she's going to say. Very similar to how you might be interested in checking out a car wreck. Point being is this: she is an agent of anarchy, an agent of chaos, as we can see by that patch on her blouse or on her top, whatever that is. And that's what was featured in the video for Bodak Yellow. They were introducing her to the masses as what she is. Many people will say, well, she got her start on such and such reality show. The reality shows are used as mechanisms to introduce witches on a low level so that the masses can become comfortable with them. And then when they blow up, people can say, wow, I watched this artist grow from nothing. I remember when they were on the internet, or they were on social media, or they were on such and such reality show, to make you think that they had to grind hard to get to the top. They grinded, but they had assistance. They had backing. And that's the only way that you get to where Cardi B is at right now. You have to have backing. It's not just about working hard. You have to have backing because, once again, Cardi B is not a rapper. She's an entertainer. She's not a rapper. She has writers and she has other people who are sponsoring her to make sure that she enters into your subconscious. So now, brothers, as we all know, this is Miss Beyonce Knowles Carter, aka Sasha Fierce. And the reason why I chose this photo is because we all know, or we already know, this is a video about Cardi B, but I am going to be providing context. And once again, it's not just about Cardi B, it's just that she is the latest incarnate or avatar for the mother goddess that they're choosing to push heavily. But there are many others because they're all supposed to be microcosms of the mother goddess. And the mother goddess is a source of anarchy or chaos. We see the same symbol on Beyonce's shirt. You see that? There it goes right there for anarchy. Once again, I cannot stress this enough. The woman in general is an agent of chaos. It's your job as a man to bring that order and instruction. Now, we also know that there are energies that the woman brings that men cannot bring. She's essential. But if she's left unmoderated, she is going to push chaos and anarchy. And this is what the job is of the top elite witches in the entertainment industry. So we've already established that that symbol stands for anarchy. We've seen it on both Cardi B and now Beyonce. And yes, Beyonce is a very high-level witch, as one of her former employees already established. But we knew that already from the beginning, at least those of us who pay attention. Now, brothers, I just wanted to come back to the quote-unquote Bodak Yellow video for a moment, because as we can see, this is a depiction from the video. And this, I believe, was an allusion to what we're told in Genesis, the 3rd chapter and the 24th verse, about how after Adam and Eve were expelled from the garden, after deciding to embrace the philosophies of the so-called serpent, but thereafter, the Most High demanded that 2 cherubims stand guard over the Garden of Eden so that Adam and Eve could no longer enter and be able to attain to the access of the tree of life. As we can see here, this person has a sword that is flaming. Here's this person here still with the flaming sword. So who is Cardi B in that video, Bodak Yellow? She represents Eve, unrepentant for what she decided to do. That is who Cardi B is. Remember, Eve is the biblical version, the true version of the mythological story of Pandora. So Pandora opened up the jar or the container and let mischief and troubles out into the world, and the last thing that emerged from the jar was hope for mankind. But that shows you that is the pagan or the understanding of the other nations of what the tree of life is. It's hope. Now we understand that the tree of life is something on a far higher level than just hope. But just getting back to the point, Cardi B plays Eve in the video Bodak Yellow, and they have an understanding that Eve is the source of the anarchy of this current society and the world since Eve. And unfortunately, Adam was weak to the woman, and he decided to put the woman in the priority of being a husband to his woman and really worshiping her. He put that as a priority over what the Most High stipulated to him. That's where we get the understanding of the mother goddess from, Gaia or Mother Earth. That's talking about Eve. Okay, brothers? So when they have Earth Day a few weeks from now, that will be in commemoration and veneration of Gaia. That's why they talk about Mother Nature. Mother Nature is talking about Gaia. They make these terms up and they try to make them more palatable for the masses, because they know that their concept of the mother goddess is contrary to the scriptures. So they're trying to nullify the scriptures or offset them by pushing the Father God, that being the horned entity, the mother goddess, and their son. Once again, Cardi B is depicting Eve in this video, unrepentant Eve. So now, brothers, this is Cardi B making one of her appearances at, I believe this function was the Met Gala. And once again, she's dressed up as the mother goddess. She has the crown on her head, which is radiating, meant for it to be an allusion to her as bearing the sun in her womb. When I say the sun, I'm talking about the S-U-N. She's proverbial Aurora, A-U-R-O-R-A, the bearer of the light or the bearer of the sun. But let's prove that further. So here's Beyonce yet again. Brothers, they all go through the same levels of programming and indoctrination. That's my point. We watch many of these concerts or these functions, and we're told by the news anchor that's covering the function or the concert, oh wow, look at their wardrobe, look at how they're dressed. No, they all have to go through the same protocol. They're all meant to be microcosms of the mother goddess. They're meant to be fleshly avatars or incarnations of the mother goddess. This is Beyonce here. I believe that she was pregnant, or maybe masquerading as being pregnant. Either way, we see here that that's that same headpiece that's meant to show an irradiation of light from her head. She is Aurora. She's carrying in her womb the sun god, Baal, or as he was known in India, Surya, S-U-R-Y-A. So, brothers, as we can see, this is Beyonce yet again, playing the mother goddess archetype with the sun rays radiating from her head, the quote-unquote nimbus or the halo, to show that she's been illuminated. And the background is the yellow curtain meant to represent the sun. Once again, I cannot say this enough. They all play the mother goddess archetype. She is Aurora. That energy is meant to trickle down to each and every female in the Western civilization, quote-unquote civilization, to get them to try to come against you as the man. A lot of you cats go back and forth with the woman on that gender war stuff. You're not supposed to do that. The woman is a child with breasts for the most part. I know a lot of people don't like when I say that. But when you grasp that, that's when a lot of the agitation and aggravation, the agina that you guys put yourselves through about the woman, that's when it goes away. Young boys in America are taught to go back and forth with women because women are their equals. When you focus on yourself and serving the Most High, all that nonsense from the woman goes away, and you start making better decisions with women because you take your time. You're not supposed to rush into anything serious with these modern day females. They're indoctrinated with whore programming. There's a reason why another term for the mother goddess was the great whore. Okay? In her sex altar, she's known as the great whore. We're going to cover that very soon in this video. But when we see Beyonce here, This is her in the mother goddess aspect, where she's radiating all the magnificence of bearing the sun, literally the sun in her womb. So now this is a very interesting cover photo on Rolling Stone magazine. And that term Rolling Stone, and I'll probably be covering this concept in the R. Kelly video, it's the same association as the reason why he named his record company Rockland. It's meant to act as an allusion to the concept of Heru being the divine rock or the divine stone, known as Baitulos, Baitulos. I believe it's also spelled Baetylus. There's a belief that the child is also the divine stone. Remember, all the concepts that are adhered to on the right-hand side for Christ on the right-hand side also have their own understanding on the left-hand side for Heru, because Heru is meant to mimic Christ. That concept of duality. A lot of brothers might not understand that, or they struggle with that, but that is why oftentimes you'll see people who delve deeply into the Babylonian Kemetic mystery school system. They'll say that the story of Christ is fake because it's talking about Heru or Osiris. No, they're confounded because they don't understand the difference between what was prophesied as opposed to what Heru or Attis or Adonis on the left-hand side, what they fulfill, quote unquote, as opposed to what was fulfilled by Christ and what the promises were pertaining to Christ. But just getting back to the point, the reason why Offset is kissing her stomach is because she's meant to play the divine goddess. She's looking at the camera. She's not looking at him. Once again, that's meant to show obeisance by him, worship by him. And she has the blonde hair. Why is that? Once again, to denote that she's under the programming. And as I was saying, that term Rolling Stone is an allusion to the scarab beetle who pushes the dung. Remember, the scarab beetle was worshipped by the people of Kemet through the god Khepri, or the god of the morning sun. They believe that the scarab beetle also pushed the sun across the sky. The sun was Heru, just like the rock is Heru. That rock that is atop the pyramid, that final capstone. That's why it irradiates, because that rock is like the sun. I know sometimes it's complex, but all the concepts really fit together once you get an understanding of what the Babylonian mystery school system is actually about. But once again, the same way that you have the rolling stone, the stone that gets rolled across the sky, that being the sun, you have R. Kelly with Rockland. And the emblem for Rockland is a man pushing that rock across the sky because it's the sun. And also, while it's at the forefront of my mind, notice that the two biggest rock bands to come out of Britain during the 1960s were both meant to be an allusion to the scarab beetle. That being the Rolling Stones and the Beatles. That's how the Beatles got their name, believe it or not. It's meant to be an allusion to Khepri, or the morning sun, another term for Heru. Now, I just wanted to use this photo very quickly. There's nothing too complex about it. As we can see, she has the leopard print on because she is an asset. She's beta programmed. She's a sex kitten. And she was assigned to Offset from the Migos. Their relationship is very similar to the dynamic between Jay-Z and Beyonce. Neither couple is ever going to be separated, at least not unless their handlers want it to be so. But Offset is her handler. So now here's Cardi B and her quote-unquote man, Offset again. As we can see, pretty much the same theme. Cardi B with the leopard print on. Why is that? Because that is a control mechanism. That's a trigger for her sex altar. There she goes on the cover of Rolling Stone with the leopard print on again. Same theme over and over and over again. Hopefully you brothers start to pay attention to some of these themes, because they are very pervasive, especially in the entertainment industry when it comes to many of these assets. They throw the leopard print on them, not just the women, but the men as well. Why is that? Because most of them have been satanically, ritually abused from their childhood, meaning what? They've been the victims of pedophilia from their childhood. Here's Cardi B again with the leopard print. Here she is for one of her photo shoots. As usual, they have to have some type of garment with the leopard print on it so that she can maintain and control. That's a way for her to feel comfortable. They seek comfort in that pattern, and not just the leopard print, but any animal pattern will instill that sex alter or maintain that sex alter. Because as we can see, it's not just the leopard print there, there's also a zebra print on the bottom. Once again, we see the leopard print. Yet again, the leopard print. You know, one would think that if you were a worldwide, a global celebrity, a sensation in the music world, and there were all these photo shoots, that they would think of something more creative to dress you in than these repetitive leopard print themes. Why would they be doing that unless it's something that's essential in how they're going to, choose your attire or how they're going to outfit you? It's something that is going along with or is compatible with your mental outlook or your psychological profile. Now, brothers, for those of you who follow Cardi B, you'll know that for the most part, she got her start on a show called Love and Hip Hop New York, I believe it was. The producer of that show is this person here, Mona Scott Young. And when I looked her up, let me also say again, she is the executive producer of that show. When I looked her up, I already understood that Cardi B, being an asset, had to be ferried through certain channels, and those channels have to be in the know. And when I look up Miss Mona Scott Young, the first thing that I see is that she's here on the red carpet with the leopard print dress on. Certain people might say, once again, well, what's the big deal? It's just leopard print. Well, then I see another photo of her conversing with, I believe this is Stevie J's ex or one of his exes. And here she is wearing the leopard print scarf. So it's very obvious that, number one, she's an asset herself, and number two, she's a handler. And that's how the career arcs of many of these people in the entertainment industry goes. They're ferried from one handler to the next, and their handlers are also assets, at least when they get to a certain level. So now this is Cardi B and Lady Gaga at this year's past Grammys. And when we look at Cardi B's attire, at her earrings, she's wearing the crescent moon earrings. Why is that? Because one of the aspects of the mother goddess is that she was noted as being a moon goddess, known as Luna, spelled L-U-N-A, or Selene, S as in Sam, E as in Edward, L-E-N-E. And even Isis or Aset was associated with the moon, as was Diana. As a matter of fact, the term Luna is understood as being a pseudonym of the quote-unquote goddess Diana. So once again, it's very clear that Cardi B has been put through the paces when it comes to understanding the importance of exuding that mother goddess energy. And if she's not been taught it, she's been programmed it, one or the other. Now here's another photo of Cardi B as well as Lady Gaga. I guess they're either walking back to their seats or walking onto the stage. And Lady Gaga is handling her like, after you take this award, you're going to take this coochie tonight. Because that's how they get down in the industry. They're all pansexuals, and they all lay down with one another. Okay, allegedly, but that's what they do. That's how they get down. So Lady Gaga is going to show her some of the finer things in life after that show is over. This is Cardi B on stage accepting her award. Once again, we can see the crescent moon earrings. This is on purpose. None of it is by happenstance. They already knew that she was going to win. Cardi B is basically all the entertainment world has been talking about for the last 2 years. And that's very important because they're trying to take the concept of the woman to a whole other level. They want the woman to embrace her own nature so much, her nature and love of chaos so much, that it's going to destroy her and everyone else around her. That's all that's going to happen. Once again, the woman has to be moderated. A lot of people are not going to like this. It's okay. But if the woman is not given certain confines when it comes to her conduct and her actions and her thoughts, she's going to harm herself. And that's why so many females out here today are so depressed. They're hooked on all type of drugs and alcohol and substance abuse, so on and so forth. But they don't want to admit it because they have to maintain this facade of being a strong, single, independent woman. But once again, just getting back to Cardi B, yes, she is the moon goddess here, Luna or Selene. A very important name or aspect of the quote-unquote mother goddess, because there are many sacrifices that are made to the mother goddess as the moon goddess. So brothers, this photo right here is pretty straightforward. Most of you cats who've done any research whatsoever into the MK Ultra program, especially the modern manifestation, or into any aspect of the Hermetic principles, you know what you're looking at here. We see the checkerboard pattern on her jacket or on her coat, what have you. The blonde hair for Harpocrates, the red bottom shoes for the Wizard of Oz programming. She's sitting in the yellow chair, meant to show that her throne is the sun, and that's why the background is of the color of the sky. You understand that? So once again, she is the mother goddess. Is also showing her as an MK asset. Really, all she is a flesh and blood robot. They allow certain components of her being to be present so that she can entertain the people on social media, on Instagram, so on and so forth, or in interviews. But there are things that they can say or do to her to make her have a complete mental breakdown. This is another depiction of the same theme. And as we can see here, Cardi B is showing that she is a pansexual. This is meant to mimic what? Cunnilingus. For a witch, aka an artist, to make any headway in that industry, they have to go both ways, all ways, up and down, around town. And the higher up on the totem pole they go, the more they're willing to do behind closed doors. Meaning what? Pederasty, pedophilia, zoophilia, blood drinking, cannibalism, etc. Am I saying that that is what Cardi B is doing? I'm not saying directly that that's what she's doing. Of course, it's alleged. But the obeying of the tenets of the Babylonian Kemetic mystery school system, also known as the Kabbalah, or any other manifestations of the obeisance to the Babylonian Kemetic mystery school system, are essential to the asset, or for the asset, in order for them to rise up through the levels. They have to understand the importance of the Bacchanalian mysteries. Here's another photo of Cardi with her tongue out. The tongue out is for Kali. Okay? The pink background is for the vagina. Believe it or not, you'll see that term pink, or that color scheme pink, in many of the videos or the pictorial depictions of these microcosms of the mother goddess, whether it's Janelle Monáe, Beyonce, Cardi B, etc. This is pretty much the same theme as the last photo, believe it or not. This is meant to convey her giving another woman cunnilingus. That's why her tongue is out and the background is pink. Pink is for the inside of the vagina. Here Cardi is showing who her god is. We see the mudra that she's putting up with her right hand over her eye to show that she has insight and wisdom into the mystery school system. And it's over the right eye. She's showing you that she's a programmed multiple. Tongue is out. She's a blood drinker. She venerates Kali. And she's a witch. It can't get much clearer. I mean, even basic dudes are starting to get this stuff, brothers. That's why, to me, it's not difficult to separate fact from fiction and the real from entertainment. Because when you have an understanding of what these people have to do to get to where they're at, it puts everything in its proper perspective. So once again, we see that she has her left eye squinting, right eye open, tongue out, forming the goat hand sign, the Manu Cornuto. So she's showing you what she's about. She's down with the team. So here's Cardi again, making sure that she's only showing the left eye, tongue out. Left eye for the mother goddess, that is the eye of Hathor. Tongue out for the goddess Kali. She's a microcosm of the mother goddess. I cannot accentuate this enough. All of these female artists are playing the mother goddess archetype, and they want that energy to go into each and every last one of these females out here to destroy any concept or respect for the conventional quote-unquote family unit, which pretty much has been out of style for the last 25 plus years any damn way, if not 45 years. So, brothers, just to provide some context to what I've been saying, we've seen various photos of Cardi B having her tongue out. And, you know, growing up, that was always something that was associated with heavy metal or the hard rock bands. Why is that? Because they've always been associated with overt Satanism. But in the last 15 years or so, 10 years or so, we've seen more and more quote-unquote hip-hop artists start to use those same hand signs, the horned hand sign and the tongue out, so on and so forth. Why is that? Because there's been an amalgamation of all these various musical genres. They've all come together because their purpose is all the same, which is to promote the veneration of quote-unquote Lucifer. And as we can see here, this is where that tongue out sign or symbol comes from the goddess Kali, who's a blood drinker. And as we can see, the vampire teeth coming out of her mouth, that is where the concept of the vampire comes from. It comes from the Bacchus and Kali. They were blood drinkers. So anyone who indulged or engaged into the initiation into the Babylonian Kemetic mystery school system, aka the Bacchanalian mystery school system, you became a blood drinker. Because drinking the blood, particularly of the bull, was meant to represent drinking the blood of Asar or a Bacchus, because the bull was their symbol. But once again, look very closely. This is the quote-unquote goddess Kali. This is a vampire. This is where the concept of the vampire comes from. Now, this is a person who's celebrating the the quote-unquote holiday for Kali. And brothers, believe this or not, this is a man or a male. When you celebrate the holiday of the goddess Kali overseas in India or Southeast Asia, they dress up in drag for her. Just to provide more context, this is the renowned physicist Albert Einstein. He's showing you who he venerates, who he worships. Y'all didn't know Albert Einstein was a freak, huh? So now, brothers, this photo was taken during one of Cardi B's performances during this past year's Grammys. And as we can see, once again, they're using some of the Mother Goddess imagery through the seashell. All these fans are replications of a seashell. Why is that? Because the seashell is meant to be a symbol for the woman's vagina. For example, the goddess Aphrodite, the goddess of lust or love, was depicted as emerging out of the seashell, because her father, I believe it was Zeus, was depicted as ejaculating into the ocean, and the foam from his ejaculation and the ocean mixed together and formed the mother goddess Aphrodite. So she rose out of the sea in a seashell. So that's why you see these seashell symbols associated with Cardi B at last year's Grammy performance. So now, brothers, just to provide some context, this is a medieval painting of the birth of Aphrodite. And as we can see, as I stated, she's emerging out of the seashell as it floats to shore. And this is a very important image or emblem, because once again, they sneak the worship of the mother goddess into all of these high-profile corporations. All of them, not some of them, all of them. In order for you to get to an extremely high level in the corporate world, you have to worship Lucifer. That meaning, and when I say Lucifer, I mean the amalgamation of the Father God, the Mother Goddess, and their Son. Well, let's see that. This is the symbol for Starbucks coffee. I'm sure that many of you brothers are familiar with this if you've done any research into what this image actually represents. This is Aphrodite, or she's also known as Astarte. In the scripture, she was known as Ashtoreth. But let's prove that this image that is utilized by Starbucks as their logo is talking about the mother goddess, the sex goddess Astarte. This is an actual carving or engraving from the ancient world of the goddess Astarte. Let me do a close-up. As we can see, it's the same image. You can see the hair waving back and forth and the five-pointed star on the top of her crown. Let me go back. That's Astarte. And she also has the the twin fishtails because she came out of the sea. There it goes again. Once again, in the scripture, she's known as Ashtoreth. She was the goddess of lust or of sex. And in the ancient world, there were actually temple cults set up for her priestesses to act as prostitutes for the men who will walk in. So, brothers, one of the core aspects of the worship of the mother goddess is the worship of the vagina. And hey, look, vagina is great. Okay, it's phenomenal. But you're not supposed to be bowing down to it. In the worship of the mother goddess, you're supposed to bow down to vagina. That's why they have these modern day female artists do these graphic performances where they're always spreading their legs wide open, showing off their vagina, so on and so forth. That's for Aphrodite. And as we can see here, Cardi B busting it all the way open and has on the leopard print tights. Now with this right here, certain cats might say, well, what's the big deal about this? Brother, she's emerging out of a vagina. That's why the inside is pink. Okay? The outside is black, the inside is pink because she's sprouting forth from the vagina. She's showing herself as the mother goddess who can regenerate herself. She does not need a man. Okay, so now, brothers, we're going to finish out this video just accentuating the importance of understanding that these quote-unquote performers are not allowed to depict themselves. They have to allow themselves to be depicted a certain way. And they all must follow the same protocol, the same program, the same route, the same curriculum, or what have you. When Nicki Minaj was popping about 6 or 7 years ago, they were prepping, they were training, they were teaching, they were programming Cardi B. Right now, as Cardi B is shining, quote-unquote, they're prepping and instructing and programming her replacement. Why am I saying all this? Let's go back in time and see how much things have not changed. As we can see here, Cardi B, her hair seems to be dyed a series of colors ranging from lime green to aqua blue. One might say, wow, this is a very individual person. How she's depicting herself. This is different. This is unique. No, it's not. Now, as we can see here, the image that we just saw of Cardi B is not unique. It's not something that's never been done before. It was done about 5 or 6 years ago by Nicki Minaj. It was done about 20 years ago by Lil Kim. There's nothing new under the sun. And when you pay very close attention to Lil Kim, you'll see that not only does she have the same hair color scheme, which is ranging from the aqua blue to the lime green, she's also emerging out of the foam-filled tub. Why is that? Because she is Aphrodite. She's emerging forth from the foam or from the ejaculate of Zeus. Certain brothers might be saying you're going too far. Be patient. I'm going to show you certain things to let you understand that there is nothing new under the sun. Beyond that, I'm going to be making another video pertaining to the understanding of how important the mother goddess is to this modern day entertainment industry, this modern day world in general. It's very, very integral that they keep pushing and promoting the mother goddess. But even on the left, we see Nicki Minaj, same hairstyle, same color scheme. She's saluting someone, most likely her MK handler or programmer. Who the hell knows? But she's definitely under the programming. The both of them are. Lil Kim is as well. Lil Kim has been under the programming since she's been in the industry. Her handler is P. Diddy, and back in the day, it was Notorious B.I.G. Okay, so now, brothers, just continuing on in the theme of all of these females in entertainment being forced to submit to certain imagery so that they can act as microcosms of the mother goddess, especially the sexual aspect. Let's look at Cardi B here. And many of you will remember that she's doing a pose that has been done repetitively by females in the rap industry. She's sitting down on a basketball. Sometimes they have these females sit down on no surface at all. Sometimes they'll have many of these females just balance themselves, but they'll always have their legs spread. Why is that? To advertise their vagina. They want you to worship the vagina. She has her tongue out of her mouth for the goddess Kali. And the basketball is also an object of worship, believe it or not. It's not just there by happenstance. The basketball is a microcosm of the sun. That's why you'll notice And not to digress, as we head into the NBA playoffs, you'll see more and more commercials where they will have the basketball players looking at the championship trophy, and it's shining. It's like an idol, and they're trying to approach unto it. The basketball is meant to be a microcosm of the sun, but we're going to see that as we move forward. Just remember this pose that Cardi B is doing right here. Now, this is Nicki Minaj doing the same pose, probably about 7 or 8 years ago. Everyone said that she was copying someone else. No, neither one of them are copying anybody. They're going through the protocol. Once again, this is Nicki Minaj. We can all see it. We just saw Cardi B. Now, this is Lil' Kim, going back to the mid-90s. Everyone said, wow, this is raunchy what Lil' Kim is doing here. They had her do this on purpose. This was not by happenstance. This was not just to show that Lil' Kim was a freak and that she was down to do anything. Lil' Kim was trying to play out a certain ritual to show that she was the avatar of the sex goddess. And as we can see here, she has on the leopard print. She's under the programming. So now, brothers, this is what I wanted to get to. And many of you may have seen this image before. This is of the goddess, quote-unquote goddess, Parvati, the goddess of sex. It's basically the Hindu version of Aphrodite. And as we can see here in the ancient world, she's doing the same pose that we saw Cardi B doing, that we saw Nicki Minaj doing, that we saw Lil' Kim doing. She's basically on her haunches and she's exposing her vagina. Her breasts are out and all that. Why is that? Because once again, there's nothing new under the sun. And that proves what? That in the record industry, even in the hip-hop world, they have to make sure that they follow the rituals of the mother goddess, the father god, and the son. It's not just for marketing. It's not just P. Diddy telling Lil' Kim, hey, why don't you get down on your haunches and spread your legs? No, there's a reason why they're doing this. And anyone that you see on television that is able to accrue a high level of fame, they are an initiate into the Bacchanalian mystery school system, or the Orphic mystery school system. Once again, pay very close attention to this image. This statue is depicting the mother goddess doing the same pose that we saw Lil' Kim do, that we saw Nicki Minaj do, that we saw Cardi B do. And we're going to see someone else do it as well. So, brothers, this is Azalea Banks. And a lot of you cats who are interested in the hip-hop stuff, you know who this person is. She's kind of a failed rapper. She's someone who they tried to make pop a few years ago. It's very obvious that she's under the beta sex kitten programming. She's doing the same pose. She's also under the Disney programming. Why do I say that? Because as we can see, she has the image or the emblem of Mickey Mouse in between her legs. And I'll be doing a video on the Disney programming. Mickey Mouse is meant to be a metaphor for Satan, believe it or not, or for Lucifer, the great wizard, really Apollo. But as I stated, I'll be delving deeper into that in another video. But once again, we see the theme, right, brothers? All these female rappers are doing the same pose, and that's part of their programming, is to show that they're going to be a modernized version of Parvati, spelled P as in Peter, A-R, V as in Victor, A-T-I, who's just the Hindu version of Aphrodite. So, brothers, I'm going to end the video with this. It's your boy R. Kelly. Once again, R. Kelly is not who you think he is. Right now, they're trying to use him as a sacrificial lamb, but he's very special in the music industry. He's proverbial Orpheus. Okay, he's like a god of music in the music industry, in the record industry. And right now, he's playing the role of the sun. They have him sitting in between this female's legs, and she's pretty much making the same pose as we saw the other females make. And if you pay very close attention to her face, they have her right eye covered. They're only showing her left eye for the mother goddess. And in between her legs, R. Kelly is sitting. Why is that? Not just because he's supposed to represent her lover, but because he represents her son. He came forth from her vagina. Okay, that's what this photo is meant to convey for those in the know. How do I know that? Because once again, she has her legs spread in the same pose as Parvati, the mother goddess, and only her left eye is uncovered. So they're showing you, once again, the left eye is for the Eye of Hathor, They're showing you that she's the mother goddess. So who must R. Kelly be? R. Kelly must be her son/husband. Remember, Haru is both the son and the husband. But anyway, just to close out, remember that the woman in general is an agent of chaos. They're also beautiful. They need guidance. They need help. And brothers have to show discretion in the woman that they choose. And every day we have to work on building ourselves up so that we're fit to lead. But at the end of the day, the females that are in the record industry, every last one of them are agents of chaos. They're agents of anarchy. So peace.